a shock to all of us. Captain, am I missing anything?
You know, just maybe about some of the comments you made.
We did interview him last night. He is currently in our facility at the Cherokee County Adult Detention Center. We were able to interview him with the Atlanta Police Department and FBI. He made indicators that he has some issues, potentially sexual addiction.
Okay, so basically there was a massacre in Atlanta in a couple massage parlors, 3 to be exact. At this point, they've confirmed that 8 people are dead.
6 Asian women and 2 white, 1 male, 1 female.
Yeah, and the person that was apprehended was Robert Aaron Long.
Another Caucasian male. 21 years old?
21 years old. And basically the police had a conversation with him. At this point, he's kind of blaming it on some sort of sexual addiction.
He's confessing that he did these murders, but due to his sexual addiction, and blaming the Asian community, especially Asian women, for his so-called curse that he can't seem to overcome.
I guess, yes, like that they're enabling him or something. How is it their fault that you like sex?
This Asian porn, the only porn you seek out. But either way, what he did was a massacre. When you look at the mugshots, though, he appears to be unscathed. This is a man who was armed and ready, dangerous. You should be feared, and instead he looked like he had a red carpet walkthrough.
Well, let's not. He wasn't shot in the street, but I don't think it was a red carpet.
The treatment so far, there's a video with another officer at this press conference where he mentions,
And he was pretty much fed up kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
huh?
Yeah, and I will say this officer made it a whole point to state his parents were a necessary component in trying to apprehend him, and apparently they were distraught. So when he mentioned that, I mean, obviously you would be distraught. This is your child. I'm not going to negate that fact. But him even mentioning it was very interesting because, not to make comparisons, but when the suspect doesn't look like this man, you don't really hear too much about the grieving family on that end. You tend to be just hearing about the victims. So I did think that was interesting.
From how media is painting it, they're all focused on his story now and his backstory. When we need to focus on the victims, and
because I don't know anything about the victims yet.
And if it's a hate crime, and was this a first time thing? Was there like prior issues or encounters with this gentleman and with the Asian community? Like, is there anything documented? And
well, that's what I'm wondering, in the sense of, okay, he's blaming the Asian community, or Asian women in particular, for enabling this sexual addiction. So I'm just wondering, because we do know about massage parlors. There are a couple massage parlors that have been brought down across the nation due to, sex trafficking rings and things like that. The seedy underbelly in our country, where young women or others are exploited via these low-key establishments. So I'm just wondering, the mayor of Atlanta said that these establishments have normal business hours. They've never had any issues. At least that's so far.
What's been reported.
And what's been reported. So you do have to wonder if he's visited any of these parlors before, or if he knows any of these women from other scenarios or situations. It's extremely sad. And at this point, we really don't know anything about the victims, which in my mind is kind of shitty, because I know more about him at this point.
I'm going to call it now. He's going to plead for insanity.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know who's going to be the sick lawyer appointed to him.
Well, everybody's, afforded due process, and,
Really?
Everybody's afforded due process.
I know, but
everybody deserves a proper attorney.
Proper representation? Where were their representation when they were all shot dead? This is the only representation that we get of them, is 8 dead bodies.
Our judicial system, the whole point, it's not to say that it works, but the whole point is just to afford the innocent that opportunity to defend themselves. Pleading insanity, he's pleading guilty essentially, but he will be remanded to an institution instead of a prison.
I wonder what Bandemic Biden gonna do about it. Bandemic Biden. I mean, out here just throwing money.
Okay, here we
Where my check
Let's get
at?
back to this video.
May have frequented some of these places in the past, but as the chief indicated, it's still early on. We still have a lot of things to process, and so he should be at an arraignment tomorrow at some time early morning.
He should be getting his ass kicked. You should be getting drugged in a cell somewhere right now. In a cell right now.
No. Show me how you treat your worst in the society, then you'll show you how you treat your best.
So are you saying, when you talk to the suspect, he says he has a sexual addiction issue, but I'm sure you asked him, was this racially motivated?
As the chief indicated, it's still early, but the indicators right now are it may not be. It may be targets of opportunity. Again, we believe that he frequented these places in the past and may have been lashing out, and part of that is in your media packet as well.
So, what you trying to say, Chief? You trying to say he's up here getting some, what's it called again?
What, happy endings?
Happy endings.
Well, that's my question, because there are a lot of massage parlors that provide happy endings. So I'm wondering, the mayor of Atlanta said that these establishments have never had those type of complaints. So I'm wondering if he's experienced a happy ending here, or if he's experienced a happy ending somewhere else and was just on a rampage, and then these just happened to be the people that experienced his wrath, because you never know. And Atlanta, let me tell you, is full of massage parlors and like 24-hour Korean day spas and all these types of things. So he could have gone to a plethora of places.
It's a sad case. Let me find out one of y'all getting up in these parlors late night after hours seeking happy endings.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I ain't gonna front though. As a kid, growing up and seeing them in films, I was at one point intrigued, like, yo, one day I'm gonna walk in with $60 after a bad day and hopefully turn into a happy ending.
The thing is about that is just, I think with sex work, it can be
Comedy style at the wrong time, forgive me.
No. I mean, it's something to be talked about. I mean, I think, again, we're always hitting topics that are bigger than these videos allow. It's hard to engage with someone that takes part in sex work, because you also need to now trace who's really in control of these acts. You know what I mean? Like, there are sometimes, like, for like all the shows we've been watching lately, there are strippers that, with the burlesque show, there are strippers that have pimps. When even when you think of stripping, you think, okay, a stripper is a stripper, a prostitute's a prostitute.
And no. Independent. There's two different things.
It's a lot of like cross pollination in those worlds. A lot of people are multitaskers. Mm-hmm. So with that, you have people that, they dance, but they also have to report back to someone else. They call them their managers, they call them their boyfriends, they call them all these other things, their daddies and things like that. So when you have these things like massage parlors or these
partake in these certain lifestyles,
you have to wonder, does that woman really want to be there? Because I've watched enough documentaries of the places that have gotten busted, and these are people that are involuntarily put into sex work, and you come by like a regular customer thinking, oh, well, she's getting her pay, I'm getting what I paid for, it's all good, this was a consensual transaction. And a lot of time that's not the case, that she's reporting back to someone else. Essentially, she might be an indentured servant where she's paying back some sort of fee because they brought her over from wherever she's from. That's a big thing. So I think with those type of things, it can be very shady.